Hello, Coach Holmes here, and today we're going to be talking about distance and measurements, okay? But the first thing we got to do, we're going to talk about postulate, axiom, and theorems, okay? Because these are very important in geometry. Now, as far as what a postulate or an axiom is, it is a statement that is accepted as true. Okay? So it's basically a statement that is accepted as true. So it's kind of like a rule. So for example, like when you play Monopoly, every time you pass go, you get $200. Well, why is that? Well, it's just the simple fact that it's part of the game. It's part of the rules. That's basically what a postulate and axiom is. It's just a stated fact that is true. There's no need to prove it. It's just part of it. It's just the way it is. Okay? Now, a theorem is a little bit different. A theorem is a statement that can be proven. It sounds a lot like theory, but it's a little bit different. What a theorem is actually proof. It's actually been proven over and over and over and over again to be true. While theory is a possibility. So there is a difference between a theory and a theorem. We don't talk about theories in math. We talk about theorems. And they're basically proven to be true. Now, we actually got our first postulate. It's called a ruler postulate. Basically says that points on a line can be matched one-to-one with real numbers. Points on a line that can be matched one-to-one with real numbers. So basically, if we have a number line here, and if we put points down, we can actually find the distance between those 2 points. And we can actually do it based off of a number line. So, for example, if I'm looking for the distance of LO, so I got point L at -4 and point O at -2. Now, to find the distance, I can hop 1, 2 right then and there. So if I go 2 distance, the distance between those two is 2. And it doesn't matter if we start at L and end up in O or O end up in L. They're both the same distance. Now, in order to find LV, I still want to do the same thing, and I'm going to do a different color so that way y'all know which one I'm looking at. So if I go up from L, I can go 1, 2, 3. So my distance here is actually 3. Now, if I want to find the distance of OE, I do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my distance here is actually 4. Okay? So again, even on a number line, we can still find the distance by hopping one number over another, as long as we know what the pattern is going by. Okay? Now, we got a second postulate to talk about. It's called a segment addition postulate. What is a segment addition postulate? Well, if B is between A and C, then AB plus BC equals AC. Okay? So, just an example. say if we want to get to Livingston, say we want to get to Livingston. Well, we do have to go through Lufkin. So if we know the distance between Nacogdoches to Lufkin, and we know the distance between Lufkin to Livingston, if you add those distances together, you get the distance from Nacogdoches to Livingston. Okay? That's what a segment addition postulate tells us. Is that if I find the distance from point A to point B, and then the point B to point C, I got the distance from point A to point C. That's what it tells us. Okay? So for example, so let's say I got DE to be 23 units and E to F to be 35 units. Well, I want to find the distance from D to F. So I want to find this whole distance. Well, what do I got to do? Well, I know DE plus EF equals DF. Okay? So I know that DE is 23, EF is 35. So really, I just gotta add 23 and 35 together to get DF. 23 plus 35 is going to give me 58. Let me write that. I don't like how it looks. So the distance from the distance from DF is 58. Now, let's look at this one. So I got the distance from FH and FG, and I want to find the distance from GH. Well, that's almost like if we know the distance from Nacogdoches to Livingston, we know the distance, and we know the distance from Nacogdoches to Lufkin, but we don't know Lufkin to Livingston. Well, it still works out, and let me show you. So remember, as far as setting it up, FG plus GH equals FH. Well, I know what the distance from FG is, that's 21. I don't know what GH is, so I'm going to leave it as GH. And the distance from FH is 36. Now, remember, by subtraction property, I can subtract 21 from both sides. So this will cancel out, and I'm left with GH. 36 minus 21, that's going to give me 25. So the distance from GH is 25 units. Okay, so that's what it's going to take in order to find the distance of any segment between 2 points. But remember, you have to have a point B, or example is point B, to be between AC. So there has to be a third point in between two segments, in between the 2 points in a segment. And that's how you're going to find your distance. Okay? So just be aware that as long as you have 3 points on the same segment, you can find the distance given 2 measurements. Thank you, and have a good day.